Feel about Rahm Emanuel's plan to lengthen the school day by 90 extra minutes?
I think it's a real good idea.
Why?
Well, one, to keep the kids off the street. Two, I think they need the education. I don't think that we're up to standards as we should be.
Okay, so you feel like that if they go longer, then they'll be, this will help like improve their scores and things?
Yes.
Okay. What about how they're getting out so late? Do you think that's going to be a problem?
That's fine, because you know what? If you look at the number of kids that's being picked up from curfew, they're out anyway in the streets. So why not be out going home from school versus going out hanging on, from hanging on the corners?
Is that a big issue around here, the curfew?
Yes.
Okay. You have kids yourself, right?
Right. But the kid my child is 3 that's in school in the Chicago public system. So she goes to school. She has therapy. So I think it'll work well with her because she's in the special ed program. And versus her getting 30 minutes a week for therapy, if they live in the school day to an hour and a half, then she could probably get an hour or an hour and a half worth of therapy a day. So I think it'll work great for her.
Right.
But as far as the kids in the neighborhood, I mean, they hang out all day. They get out of school at what, 1:30, 2 o'clock? And then they out to about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
That's true.
So, I mean, they're not doing nothing. They're throwing rocks, breaking in people's houses, gang banging. We're not being in school getting an education.
Right.
Learning.
Okay.
And then a lot of them failed 8th grade.
Okay.
So they had to go to summer school. So if they was in school a year, in the school year, you imagine a day and an hour and a half times how many days they go to school. 16 weeks per semester. I mean, that's a lot of education that they can get.
Okay. So you really think it'll make a difference?
Oh, yeah. Huge.
How do you feel about Rahm Emanuel's plan to lengthen the school day by 90 extra minutes?
I'm totally in agreement with it.
Why?
Because that'll keep the kids out of the streets. They need to be in school so that they can learn something. Most parents got their kids out. They don't know where they are at. At least for that 90 minutes, they will know that they're in school. And a lot of parents complain about, they're not complaining, they just not handling their kids well. And you can't tell me that you can't teach your own kids something or how to behave, or because I raised one by myself at 5 years old, I had a divorce. And he didn't turn out to be a gangbanger. So I think, and I really appreciate what he did about that.
So you really think it's a good idea?
Very good idea.
Okay, you think it'll eliminate some of the problems that's going on in the ward?
Most definitely, because the kids are hanging out, they have no mental, have nowhere to go, so they just hang out, break windows, do anything they feel like it, and the parents seem like they're going along with the kids.
Okay. What about like as far as them getting out later? Do you think like problems like leaving school too late will be a problem?
No, I don't, because they're out anyway to 10 and 11 at night.
Okay, so you think curfew, like breaking curfew already?
Breaking curfew, anything they can break.
You have kids yourself, right?
I have only one.
Okay.
And he's went through college. So this is how I know the parents are not doing what they can for the kids. It's not for the police to raise your child. It's not for Rahm Emanuel to raise him. It has to start from home. Being disciplined, you are train up a child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. But the way these parents are doing, children have nowhere to go to. Nobody, because I myself go to some of the toughest gang bangers on this block or come in the block. I have them to help me sometime and give them a few dollars. Do you know they appreciate that? All they really out in the street is asking for love, and they not getting it from home.
Wow, that's interesting. So you're like a strong member of the community, like you're a strong activist. You really try to help this community.
I try to help them, and I want them to know that somebody do care for them, and I talk to them, and I tell them when they finish working in the yard or wherever they ask me if I need help, I will give them $1 or $2 in a pop, and I said, now don't go get in trouble. Try to get your education. That is really needed. I said, let me see you do something positive besides breaking windows and being bad.
Right.
And they listen. They really want somebody to help them. Police don't raise your kids. They're not supposed to. You are supposed to raise your own kids. You don't need no police, because they're not their kids. They're not.
Right.
They're not. I want to see them grow up and be somebody. I really don't want to see the world coming like it is.
Okay.
It's really, the young peoples are setting patterns for peoples like 20, 30. They saying, well, if the young peoples can do it, we can too. The young peoples determine where the grown people should go, and you know that is really sad. That's sad, but that's exactly what's going on. Cause I watch, and I go to a bad one, or they'll come up and say, you need some help? I don't tell them no, and I could, because I could use my dollars for myself. But I'd rather give them the dollar, and then I bought 2 uniforms for kids. I know they bad, but I bought 2 uniforms for them to go to school. They claimed they didn't have the clothes, so I bought it.
That's nice.
So
very nice of you.
that's about the end of mine. I just want the world with the kids to change, and that they should know nobody responsible for your kids but yourself.
Right. Okay, let's talk about Rahm Emanuel's plan to lengthen the school day. How do you feel about that? He's trying to lengthen it 90 extra minutes.
I feel that that's a good program if they individualize it for the students. I don't think they should stay longer periods if they're not going to adjust the way that they teach.
Okay, can you elaborate a little more on that?
I don't think kids should be institutionalized, and public schooling is like being in an institution. I think if he's going to expand the hours, then he's going to have to do something that's going to make the kids feel like they're in a learning environment.
What kind of things do you think he can do to do that?
I think they can make the classroom smaller. I think that the teachers need to individualize her students by knowing what they can do and what they can't do, and devise a program that will aid them to be the best that they can be in whatever area.
Okay. You have students, you have kids yourself?
Yes, but my kids are grown.
Okay. You have grandkids in the school system?
I have one left in the public school system.
Okay. And do you think that'll affect them, like her or him, depending on like if they're getting out of school later? Like, is that going to be an issue?
I think it would be an issue not just so much for mine, but there's a lot of kids that I know whose parents depend on them being at school a certain hour. You know what I mean? So that will affect the way their lifestyle is at home, their personal lifestyles.
Okay. Think it'd become like difficult, like?
Yeah, because they got to find child care now and alter their working schedule and so forth and so on.
Okay.
And if they're not going to, like I said, individualize education for the students, then I don't think that a child should be in school with those hours, because it's just adding more prison time to them. You know, if you're already teaching in an institution and you have them stay longer, it's just like you're being in jail, you know.
Okay.
Because you really don't have any freedom.
That's an interesting concept. Okay, I like that.
I'm reading a book that was written by a teacher called Dumbing Us Down. I think every teacher who teaches in the public school system should read it.
Why?
It's a valuable tool in teaching them, the teacher, not to institutionalize their students. Give up the program that the Board of Education pays them to incorporate with the kids and start teaching from the old formula what your child knows and what you think your child can do in your classroom.